Which one flicks your switch? The mountains or the ocean, or maybe both? But if you had to choose, which would call your name out louder? I'm here with Christine and her mom for a 4-day visit. I'm more of a sea guy, but once a year, the mountains pull me in. Welcome to this episode where I speak about mountains and the sea, the ocean. I'm sitting in the Drakensberg Gardens fairways, about to go on a hike, and I hope you'll come and join me as I contemplate people who love the mountains and people who love the ocean, and I suppose there are a bunch of people that love both. I must admit, I'm loving being here, but to be honest with you, I generally choose the ocean above the mountains. I can do 4 days here with my mother-in-law. When we drove up into the mountains, came around the corner, saw the mountains, she kind of sighed and just said, I love the mountains. She's 91. I'm so glad we could bring her here as I think about that. But other than that, outside of her, the mountains, what do you think? As I'm hiking along, I realized that knowing what's under my feet is really important. And in the ocean, I trust the waves a little more. Of course, in surfing, the medium you're moving on, the water is moving while you're moving on that which is already moving. But there's a familiarity for me as I kind of find my balance and find my way in the surf. Let me cut into the live action here as I walk along this path. I struggle with my balance. Excuse the wind noise. Really disappointing. At my age, balance becomes such a bloody issue. It really does. And having this sort of pole, it's just like when you slightly lose your balance, you just catch yourself with this pole. It really does make a lot of difference. I mean, I reached this point where I went down into this gully, and I was intending to swim in this pool, but the bottom didn't look very good, and so I decided not to. And then climbing out a different way was kind of a little bit dodgy. I mean, check this out.
Stronger. What seemed impossible to beat, someone is bound to make it look easy.
I eventually climbed out of this little gully and began my journey back. And as I was walking, I saw this pile of rocks, and I thought, hey, what is this pile of rocks about? And I realized it was showing me that there was a shortcut down to this path down below, and that's the main path I could get on. So I thought, hey, well, that's cool, because this is how I'd come here. I'd walked all the way along that fence, along that path, and I came along across, and I realized, hey, I don't have to go back the whole way that I came. I can just go down here. Came from up there. And to the credit of the oaks here, they built these little bridges, which are very useful. There we go. So there's a little sign here that tells me I'll be walking on Hanson Hill. As I was walking back along this shortcut path, I checked this oak in this bucky trying it out, I think. Anyway, I hope he had fun. I eventually got a hippo pool, and as I was crossing the pool, I got time to reflect. There are 3 similarities between ocean and mountain lovers. The first one is you're in nature. I mean, you're truly in it, and you often get humbled by it. When my mother-in-law made the comment about I love the mountains, for her it reminded her of the awesomeness of God. The second is that both have creatures, some friendly and not so much. Of course, in the surf there's dolphins and there's seals, and hopefully you're not experiencing any sharks. Whereas in nature there's birds and dassies and domestic animals and these baboons. I mean, just take a look at I encountered these baboons on the golf course. And then the third thing, there's always a risk. Part of the thrill, really, both the mountains and the ocean. Because in the end, it's not about choosing sides, it's about knowing yourself. So what about you? Oceans, mountains, both? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you would subscribe to this channel. Cheers and God bless you.